When I auditioned for drama school, I'd been to an all-boys school and I was tall enough not to have to play girls, which was a result. But boys did play girls. So when I auditioned for drama school, for instance, I thought I'd do one girl and one boy. And for my girl, I did Eliza Doolittle. People don't do this, you know, it's not, you know. And for my boy, because my mate Gavin had the stopwatch and it said 3 minutes of Shakespeare, and it had a speech which began with, "I left no ring with her," which, you know, we figured that's a boy. It turns out, in fact, it's one of the most famous female roles in Shakespeare. And the bloke said, "That was very interesting. Why did you choose to do 2 women's parts?" And I was thinking, Gavin, you know. The harrowing thing about this whole evening was that I had to watch myself, which I don't generally do.
Why do you not watch them?
Because it's unbearable, because I am squeamish in the extreme about the sight of myself or the sound of myself, but most importantly, the acting is what I can't bear. I just can't bear it. I know it's, you know, I don't know what other relationship you could possibly have with it. I see it, and all I see is the disparity, you know, the violent disparity between what I had in mind and what's arrived on the screen. Somebody once wrote, apparently, somebody once wrote about me, that nobody does tired like Bill Nighy. And I was, I remember, because the thing about being in films and television particularly is that everyone's sort of semi-exhausted all of the time, but they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that, and you will have to achieve all these things whilst being semi-exhausted. And I used to be frightened of being tired on camera. Then I used to sort of think, well, okay, I'll just be tired. And it got to be quite exciting, just being tired in close-up, being tired in mid-shot, you know, just being tired.
Presumably the role in Love Actually was written for you.
No, it wasn't written for me at all. It was written for somebody else. They could have had anyone, you know, they could have had a rock star. And no one was more surprised than me.
But when Richard Curtis talked to you about it, when you did get to the part, whoever might have been up for it beforehand, I mean, what was the brief?
They were never, you know, they're pioneers. Aging rock stars, you know, we've never had aging rock stars before. Rock and roll is relatively new, you know, relatively young. And these guys are, there is a great deal of affection for old rockers. People smile at the mention of their names because they're still standing or something, because we grew up with them, or because they're funny. But Richard liked the idea of someone who would say the thing you weren't supposed to say.
So now we'll come on to The Girl in the Cafe from 2005.
Yeah, it was the movie of the Make Poverty History campaign. The Make Poverty History campaign, which was arguably one of the most successful charitable pushes of all time, was another attempt to stop people dying from extreme poverty completely unnecessarily and preventably. Richard Curtis is one of the few people you could turn to and actually say, that person there has saved millions and millions and millions and millions of people's lives. What I like about the movie is the fact that he has perfectly integrated certain information which he wants to deliver into that other thing he does, which is romantic comedy.
Now, of course, there are also the thing we haven't mentioned are the big blockbusters, the Pirates and the Underworld series, in which you are, rather sadly, I think, hidden behind being a squid or a... What is Victor in the Underworld? Is he a vampire?
Victor is king of the vampires.
Oh, yes. We'd be so desiccated by that stage that it's difficult to tell.
How dare you? No, I'm desiccated. I'm covered in latex. Let's get real. No, a squid. Well, I was quite happy because it meant I could watch the movie. You know, I quite happily watch both Pirates of the Caribbean movies because what are you going to say? I'm a terrible squid.